Hello, welcome to my shop. Today we have an older piece of equipment. It's not an antique exactly, but it's an older one. This is a Symetrix 528. Now you've seen me do 528Es before. Well, this is an older version. You can tell the pots are all lined up a little bit different, and it's got pretty much everything else the other one's got. It doesn't have the voice symmetry button, but it's got de-esser over here with a bypass, which bypasses out, off in other words. It's got the expander threshold and the 3-band equalizer, just like the other one did, and it's all pretty much the same buttons and everything. This one has a couple of little differences. It also has a compressor, expander, or de-esser for your meters. This is just for your meters over here. This shows so that you can switch back and forth what your meters are showing rather than having all those meters, those LEDs along the top. This just has these. This also, the back is a little bit different. It still has phantom power for the microphone and line output, but this one doesn't have all of the 1/4-inch jacks in the back to plug things into and out of. This one's got little strips, connection strips. These are for stacking, EQ in and out, side chain in and out, de-esser in and out, like the other one had, but these are not 1/4-inch going into them. I don't know how they do that. As far as bypassing, they bypass them with these little clips. I see. Isn't that interesting? There's little clips here crossing across them so that they just go into out, and take clips off, and then it's like having the normally open and normally closed connections on the 1/4-inch jacks. And this one does stacking. I'm not sure what that is. But this is where you connect your output, your line output. This is the line driver output. This one does not have, I believe, mic output. No, it does not. It's got line only. And it has 2 inputs for line input. You've either got screw-on terminals back here, or you plug it into there. But its main input that it wants is the mic input over here. This one, when we turn it on, show you what happens here. This one's actually in service in my AM studio. That's quite interesting, as old as this is. But when we turn this thing on, you can see that the gain reduction lights here come on, and just like all the rest of them, this switch is flaky. All the gain reduction lights are on, probably because there is no noise going into the thing. Take that. Yep, that works. So the gain reduction does work. But if you look over here, the line input, the input for the microphone, I don't know, can you see that? Let's see if I can get in on her. Yep, there it is. No input at all, and it says clip. Turned all the way down, all the way up, doesn't matter. Anyway, they went to use it this morning because it was really cold and we had a winter storm watch, and it didn't work, and had to bypass it kind of quickly. And this says clip too, because this says clip. So we're going to find out what's wrong with this, because as usual we may need it tomorrow morning. You gotta love radio. Okay. Take everything off of here. This doesn't have a removable cord either, removable plug. This is all old. So this is not an E, so I'm willing to bet you this is all through-hole component. I could be wrong. I do not believe I actually have a schematic for this whole thing. I might. I try to make sure that I have doing A little bit warped, probably from heat, because the power transformer is right under that portion. This thing's been sitting in the rack for years and years and years. We'll find out when it actually came up. Oh, it's just like warped right in the middle. Isn't that interesting? Ah, look at that. Yep, all through hole. But for all intents and purposes, it looks a lot like the other ones. A lot. Let's see what we got here. You sit right there. Okay. Well, we got LF353s all over the place. All of these are all LF353s. That's an MC3346, and so's that. 44650, B44650. Don't know, I'll have to look that one up. These are B44650s. It's got a whole bunch of little capacitors, and I bet they're all, let's see, 10 microfarads, 4.7s, 4.7, 4.7, 10, 10, 10, 4.7 non-polarized, same as that one, so there's a couple of non-polarized. There's some more back here. What else they got in here? 85 degrees. This one's 100. These are all hundreds of 35s, hundreds of 35s. Can't see that one because the only place they could see fit to put the glue was right over the number. And these two. Great, 65 degrees. What are these? This is a 7915, 7815. So these are the same as in the 528E. They're just laying down and glued down. Well, I'm willing to bet you this has got exactly the same problem, with the exception, well, the switches, we know this meter switch is bad. We'll have to check the rest of these. Fortunately, these little switches you can actually spray. The ones that are on the 528E are sealed up, and you can't even get into them. So we might be able to clean these out. But we're going to have to take out some of these, couple of these caps and see what they look like. But I'm willing to bet you they're bad. So let me pull this thing apart, and I'll be right back. Alright, there's something I wanted to show you before I get the rest of this. I got it all loose, but it won't come apart. And it won't come apart because this XLR connector, see now, I just said it because I wasn't thinking about it. This XLR connector here won't come out, and there doesn't appear to be any way to get it out of here. Now, if you've never dealt with these, here's how you do it. Basically, if you notice, there's an extra little hole here, right there. Well, you take a little screwdriver, like that sized, and you stick it down in there until you can just feel it, and on the top, there's a little, like a flat area, and you stick it in there until the little screwdriver, it can't be any bigger than this one, falls into that hole, and you give it the tiniest little turn to the left. That's it. And then the barrel of this XLR comes out of its connector. Its sheath there, right? So that's how you get those out, in case you ever run across one of those and go, what the, how the, that's how. Alright, so she's open. Let's pick a cap, any cap. Well, I'm going to take the power supplies first because I'm pretty much going to guarantee you they're bad. Yeah, this thing is, I'm not too worried, it's about 15 volts. And not really a good idea to just, like, run your fingers across capacitors. But I do know that this one does discharge, or these guys discharge, so let's see. Don't, it's just better not to take chances if you can, and not just strap your fingers across capacitors, because I think these are only 1,000 microfarads at 50 volts, but that's enough to wake you up in the morning and pretty much dump you out of bed. So don't, just don't do that. One thing about these guys, these old 528s, they are the holes in the board that all the parts go through are one heck of a lot more forgiving than the E's are. Yeah, 1,000 microfarads, 35 volts. We'll check it on the old magic cap checker here. See what it says. I'm willing to bet you that they are huffed. We'll put this thing on ESR. $321 microfarads, 33 ESR. Yeah, it's supposed to be 1,000 microfarads. It's 335. And what's this one? This one is 348 at 24 ohms. So, those are toast. Let's take another representative over here in another power supply section. I'm not going to make you watch me change caps. That there little thing has been done to death. So, ooh, that one's got a fair amount of glob on the top. Yeah, bigger the glob, the better the job, I guess. All right. Nice elastic, and I'm sure they do this because for shipping or something. That's, at least that would be my guess. But this goo, I've seen this before. This is like rubber cement on steroids. This stuff. It's got some serious stickum to it. There. Wow. What's this one? 100 at 100. Axial, no less. No, radial. I get those mixed up. It may not be going back with a radial. We'll see. And you are... See, now that one's okay. That's 105.65. That one's good. So, it might just be the power supply caps are bad. Which might be really good because I'm not sure Love this. It's not marked in any way, shape, or form. Gonna have to go back through and see if I can figure out which end was which on here. Okay, well, I checked. I don't have any 100 at 100s. So, because I have to get this thing working tomorrow, I gotta put this back in here. I did have some 1,000 at 50s, though, that fit. Let's see, this is positive here. Yeah. Okay. I don't think that the 100 at 100 is necessarily etched in stone, but these things can be kind of picky, and let's face it, it worked for a long time. We gotta check and find out. I forgot to see what year this is. One thing I did do incorrectly, boys and girls, I took these caps out. I didn't bother to mark them. Basically, figure out which way to go in there. So I had to figure it out. Went back and looked on the tape, and I hadn't actually shown it very well, unfortunately. You didn't get to see it either, but I figured it out, that this is minus and this is plus, because these are capacitors for the different rails, the plus and minus rails. So it's always a good idea, if you're going to take caps out, mark them so you know which direction it went. Alright, let's okay, so we know that one was okay. These two were shot. Let's try this guy here. And see what he says. And this one was negative this way, so positive's over here. Mark that with a positive. And let's find out what this one is. What's this supposed to be? Good. Put the glue on top of the numbers, folks. Jeez, really? 50 volts. $47 at 50. Alright. Let's try it here. 46 at 1.2. That's pretty high. That's not good at all. So $47 at 50. I have 47s at 100. That'll work just fine. Thank you. It's the same size as this antique stuff. That really wasn't horribly high, but 1.2 ohms is, on a capacitor that big, is pretty bad. 1 microfarad or 5 microfarad, 4.7, that might not be horrible, but on a 47, that's not good. Alright, so let's okay, let's take another one. Let's try one of these non-polarized guys here. See what it says, because a lot of the times all of the non-polarized are bad. At least in the surface mount version, all of the NPs are bad. Definitely non-polarized. 4.7 at 50 NP. Okay. Let's see what this one says. What it says is get new clips. These clips are getting terrible. 4.7 at 1.92 ohms. For a non-polarized, that's not horrible. Probably would be better to get new ones, but I don't think I have them, and like I said, this thing's got to go back into service before I go home tonight, and I would like to go home sometime tonight. It is now, what time is it? 4:30, and I'm retired, darn it. Well, the one-handed soldering method. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to say just off the bat that that's probably okay. I'm going to take another one of these guys here. These, I believe. Well, it'd be helpful if I sucked out the right holes. Alright. That one's plus. Alrighty. And what are these? 100 at 35. Well, really? It says 53 at 12. Still says 53 at 12. Well, let's get 100 at 35. Make sure, always test your equipment too. Let's see, what have I got here? I've got, well, I got 100 at hundreds. So we'll use 100 at hundreds. And we'll give this a test and see what it says it is. .106 at 0.15. So my meter is correct. Alright, so that one's toast. So I'm kind of betting you they're all toast. This other one here, started to suck out. May as well finish the job, huh? And, well, that was a fooler. I did not expect that to be that orientation. Okay. Wow. Alright. It's not a feed-through cap. I don't know what this is. It's another 100 at 35. .62, 5.2 ohms. Okay, well that answers that. All the hundreds of 35's got to come out of there. Alright, well, I'll get that done. We'll move on a little bit. I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. Can of spray. Cleaned up the pots and the switches. Replaced all of the bad capacitors. The 4.7s, these guys, the regular 4.7s and the 47s were fine. All of the hundreds were bad. And I mean really bad. The and the thousands were terrible. So got all those replaced. The 4.7 feed through non-polarized are just fine. There's nothing wrong with those at all. They all got an ESR down around less than an ohm or less, which is fine for this kind of stuff. And everything else is all set up. I'm feeding this thing about 600 hertz at minus 50 dB into the line, or to the microphone input, because that's what we use here is the mic input, and 50 dB, minus 50 dB is mic level, and I got it just going into an old ICO 150 solid state signal tracer. So let's turn her on. Ah, there we go. That's nice. That's good sound. Turn that down a little bit. I think you can still hear it, but take a look at the front. Yeah, I don't like these. I like having regular connectors. Modern. Alright, we take a look at the front. We've got an output here. This is output level on the top, and it's saying about 3 dB. There's a click at 0 and 0, so that's lining up perfect. This and this are lining up perfect. I have the EQ pushed in, so what we want to do is we want to check the EQ frequency. We're doing this just real quick. Check the EQ frequency at 600 Hertz. So if we back this down here, that boosts the 600 like it's supposed to. For the EQ for 600. If we take the mid frequency, okay, well this is set not to do very much anyway. Let's see, let's turn this up. Didn't clean that part. Got to remember where these are because they're going back in. Yeah, they're okay. Well, I haven't actually been through these pots, because you sort of got to keep these where they were, and this one was set to cut off of 0 for cut boost of 0, so that's where it's going to stay. This one was set to right about there, and cut boost of 0. So this one not doing much. EQ low and mid he didn't have doing anything, but the highs did. But I can tell you that it does work. There. Because if I take this and turn it up, now the I'll rotate those a little and get them cleaned off. I did spray them. They're hard to get to, but so right around 6, which is right about there, because that's 160 at the bottom. That's somewhere around 6 and 2.5. So that's correct. Put this back where it was. And we'll check this one, turn it up for boost. Yeah. Okay, that cleans that up. Turn it up for boost, and this one goes up to 512, but it's starting to boost it before it gets there, but he didn't use that anyway, because he had it on 0. Alright, and then we've got the compressor threshold and expand threshold, or expander. Now these were where it was set, so the expander he's set to about minus 35. So let's see, we want to show compressor expander out. Not turned up here. Let's see, that's about there. Okay, see the expander take over? I don't know if you can see that. Here's your expander lights over here. And when I turn the... hold on a second, I'm going to unscrew this a little bit. This is ridiculous. Alright. Alright, so if we can see here, the expander lights are on. I don't know, can you see that or not? I guess, okay. And then when I turn this, when I turn it to down, then the expander goes off. which it's supposed to do, because the expander is supposed to expand it when there's less sound, and then the compressor compresses it when there's too much sound. So I'm turning the compressor down so that it's got more gain. So yes, so it's working just the way it's supposed to. And you add that up right about there, and that one about there, and that one about there. Okay, so that works. The de-esser is really hard to show you, but it de-esses between 800 and 8K. He's got it set about 6.5, but it does work. And this is the mic gain, and it's marked in dB, so it's not actually going to show up on this meter over here. So everything works just like it's supposed to. All it took was that many. Alright, well, so there's an old 528 all through hole. Does pretty much the same stuff as the other one does. It's just not quite as well, compact. Well, it's the same sized box, identical, pretty much, but the knobs are arranged different, but everything in it is pretty much the same as it was before. The problem with this one was, of course, the bad caps were, these filter caps were bad. All of the 100 microfarads filter caps for the power supply rails were all bad. Well, yeah, and these guys here, these are the other 100s, these little 100s were fine, and so was this one over here. So basically everything in it's working just like it's supposed to now. I can put it back into service, knowing that this thing's going to work. I would go through and change all the 47s and 4.7s. The non-polarized, however, I do not have any. And like I said, this thing's got to work tomorrow morning. And I don't really feel like getting up at dark 30 in the morning to come in here and whatever. I mean, it'll work through tomorrow. I'll fix it the next time. When I get the parts in, I'll take it out. So anyhow, there you go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like it.